All right. Well, I believe there's one more match left on the show.
There's certainly, but 3 falls, 1 match, 3 falls. For the TNT title, 2 out of 3 falls, Christian Cage versus Darby Allin, and this match went on last. And I'm thinking, okay, when I was first watching it, not knowing what would eventually unfold, I'm thinking, okay, it's Darby's hometown, so he'll be the hero. Maybe they're, and then as we find out, the finish had to go on last also. But again, the bell rang at 3 hours, 25 minutes into the pay-per-view. And then add an hour and a half for the pregame. So the people are 5 hours into the show before the main event starts. And in the first fall, you would expect that normally the heel goes up to put the babyface in jeopardy, right? Generally, the heel will somehow win the first fall, so that way the people, oh shit, he's got to win 2 now to the babyface to pull this out. But they did. And again, this was another one where I thought this is going to be the best thing on the whole show until I saw the last 5 minutes. They can't help themselves. Christian Cage is a tremendous fucking heel. His work is great. He knows what to do and what he shouldn't be doing, and he's not going to get hurt. And he's got heel demeanor, and he can put a match together to make sense. I'm sure somebody else helped him with this one. And Darby is a hometown boy, and he's the most leadable babyface on their roster. Remember, we've said it. When he's got a veteran that will control him and not let him do all the stupid shit, he's great. And he's leadable, and he has the charisma. But I honestly, and I'll get to it, I can't believe that Christian Cage, it was his idea to, or was he in favor of some of the things that were done in this match, but we'll get to that. There was a clear babyface and heel. There was solid wrestling. They didn't start at 100 miles for an hour. Christian took over with simple shit and got big heat from the fans. And then they came up with a brilliant finish for the first fall that was executed perfectly. When Christian was going to do something, Darby came out and foiled it and pulled Christian's turtleneck over his fucking face and head, and then jackknifed him while he was blind, 1, 2, 3. And it was perfect, and it was brilliant. And now Darby's up 1 fall, and the people they're hooked. So I love that, right? That was fucking great. What'd you think?
I enjoyed the first fall.
And it was only a couple minutes, so they didn't give away everything that they had. And when they started the second fall, that's when Christian takes over and starts the heat. Because Darby has to fight from underneath and be the underdog and get hope spots and then explode. And Christian got heat on him, and it was, again, solid. And then he missed a splash or diving headbutt or whatever. Darby made a comeback. They got a few false finishes. Christian dumped him to the floor and bounced him off the rail. And then Nick Wayne's mother is in the front row. And they did the thing where Christian is not exactly a sex symbol. I don't know if I would have had him go over there and try to put the make on Nick's mom. He could have gone over and taunted her, but nevertheless, she looks like she's going along with it until he gets close, and then she throws a drink in his face. And then Darby hit one of those bullet dives, rather, where he just, like he's shot from a cannon. And then does the coffin drop off the top rope onto the floor.
Bullet drive is what Cash Wheeler calls the ride home.
Oh, come on now. Has never been proven.
The bullet drive.
That has never been proven.
What gun?
But what gun? So he hits the coffin drop off the top to the floor, and then one in the ring, but Christian raises the knees, and then he knocks Darby off the apron onto the desk. And then that's when it fell apart. Because then after they do a back and forth, and Christian looks like he's going to, they're on the apron, and he picks Darby up like he's going to power slam him off the apron onto the steel stairs, which I believe was the spot that they were going for. But it looked like as Christian was holding him, he realized and he said something to Darby. He's like, out of the stairs were pointed that way. They'd been moved. So he would have had to slab Darby. Yeah, just about did. He would have had to have slammed Darby on the actual stairs, not on the flat top, but on the steps. And so it looked like he was saying, I can't put you down good from here. So he just kind of slammed him off the apron onto the floor, feet first. And then he goes down there and picks Darby up like for a vertical suplex and suplexed him onto the stairs. And then they get back up on the apron and Christian picks him up and does power slam him or body slam him off the apron onto the stairs. What he had tried not to do the first time. Now the guy's taken 2 of those bumps. And I'm right. Why? What the fuck is going on here?
And it looked brutal.
And it was right on the goddamn edges of those steel stairs, back first. That's not something Christian would do unless this idiot was saying, no, do it to me, do it to me, do it to me. And if I had to hazard a guess, I would say, because now Darby, the doctor comes to check him and Darby gets counted out for the second fall. And the first bump would have worked, but he had to take the second one. And if I had to hazard a guess, I would say that when Christian got him up the first time, he said, no, this ain't safe. I can't do it. And he let him, like Darby just flipped out of it and landed on the floor. But then he went down to get Darby and he picked him up and he dropped him on these things in a way that Christian apparently felt was safe and thought that will be the bump. And then Darby either gets up or is telling him, no, do the other thing. Because he's a fucking idiot and he has to be protected from himself and his lack of goddamn sense, Darby. But Christian, after being requested to, I believe, said, all right, I'll do it to this fucking guy and see if I can do it. And that's what they did. So he took 2 of the bumps when the first one would have worked, or either one would have worked. But both in a row called attention to they fucked something up. Is that what you got, or were you even caring by that point?
You know, it's a weird thing when you watch a Darby Allin match. You kind of wait for what's the spot going to be where I go, oh my God, there's no way he could survive that. And then he does it. It's every single match. It never looks good. Like you said, it always has to be his idea because no one's going to say, hey, how about I just fucking kill you out there? Darby seems to like that kind of stuff. But it had gone pretty, when they were setting up the stairs, I was worried. And when they finally hit it, I was like, yeah, that looks really awful.
Yeah, and again, even if it was a great idea and even if Darby wanted to do it, when it didn't come off the first 2 times, drop it, because now you're just making yourself look stupid in front of these people because they can start telling that you're doing a variation of the same thing over and over again. You're obviously fucking it up. So then they get Darby on a stretcher. The doctor, and there's no count out. The doctor and the people just come and they put him on a stretcher on wheels and they're strapping him down. So we would assume this thing has been stopped, right? Because they're going to wheel him out. While they're wheeling him out, or preparing to wheel him out, Christian cuts the apron loose and unrolls the canvas and starts unrolling the padding off of half of the ring. Why would he be doing that if his opponent is on a fucking stretcher and he's obviously won this thing? Just stand there, right? But no. Christian is stripping half the ring and then goes to the top rope and splashes off the top onto Darby on the stretcher on the floor, which it didn't break because it's a real stretcher and there's wheels on it. But then Christian rolled Darby back into the ring. So now the doctor and the referee don't have control anymore. If Christian is about to win this thing, why is he wanting it to continue? Why is the referee and the doctor letting him take the guy off the stretcher that they just put him on and put him back in the fucking ring? And why, if any of this was going to happen, did Christian need to take any of the ring apart? Oh, the announcers are kind enough to tell you, apparently so he can pick the guy up that was on the stretcher and drop him on the hardwood. And that's what he did. He gave Darby his finish, the unprettier, on the wood with no padding or canvas, and covered him and got a 2 count. A 2 count on the corpse, the fucking dead body of Darby Allin that had just been hauled off a stretcher, that had just been paralyzed on the ring steps. Now Christian gets a scorpion deathlock on Darby, a submission hold after a hospitalization angle, and his finish on lumber in a half torn down ring. Now we'll go for a submission. But then Darby comes out of it, and he does a coffin drop off the top rope onto Christian on the bare wood and gets a 2 count. And then Christian power bombs him on the wood. But Darby ducks out of the way and Christian spears the referee. So then Christian hits Darby in the balls. But of course, as we know, that doesn't work. We've seen it already tonight. Christian gets the title belt, and he's going to fucking hit Darby with it. But Nick Wayne appears at ringside and steals the belt and rolls in to stand by Darby Allin. And Darby stands up, and now there's Darby and Nick Wayne looking at Christian. And of course, Nick Wayne turns around and knocks the fuck out of Darby Allin with the title belt. And his mother gets upset. And Nick Wayne dives out, and Christian covers, and the referee is awake again. 1, 2, 3. So apparently, remember back a couple of weeks ago that one time that it was mentioned that Nick was not altogether happy about Darby's involvement with Swerve, and the guy that's been forgotten that disappeared, A.R. Fox, when he was in there for a minute.
Yeah, he turned too, twice.
He turned back, and then he turned up missing. Well, Nick has held a grudge. Apparently.
I mean, surprising move. You didn't really get into him as the young underling babyface to Darby. Now they're going to try to do that with Christian, whose whole gimmick is what? He's a weird father figure who makes jokes about dead people. I don't know what the gimmick is exactly. Are you okay with that for Nick Wayne trying something different?
Well, I'm okay with somebody trying something different if everything's designed to either be short term or to fail to begin with. Remember, Action Andretti was a future superstar for 3 weeks. Then he disappeared. You didn't see him much until he started coming back every once in a while to do a job. Nick Wayne was signed as this heralded teenage sensation, this sympathetic figure. This is son of a dead fucking hero, and that lasts 8 weeks. And then they've made him so meaningless and stupid and involved him in this nonsensical angle where people are turning on each other back and forth, to now he's a heel. Shit like this used to take a lot longer to develop, didn't it? Where people would actually care about it by the time that it happened.
Yeah. I mean, again, Nick Wayne has just been established there. Now, they are in his hometown, so if you were ever going to get a reaction, I guess that was it. But in general, everything...
Does everything have to happen in everybody's hometown?
No, and again, Nick Wayne did lose earlier he actually lost to Luchasaurus on the pre-show, funny enough.
There you go.
But I think after the match ended and they started doing the angles, I guess you could say, it took forever. Like, it felt like it was almost as long as the match, the post-match, just waiting. You were clearly waiting for something to happen, and most people guessed what it was, and it was exactly that, but it took forever to get there.
Well, and let's go ahead and start getting there, because basically the match was over when Darby got clocked with the title belt by his friend or ex-friend Nick Wayne, and Christian covered him, and 1, 2, 3, and Mama Wayne was upset at Nick. And again, as I mentioned, the first part of that match, most of it was great until the whole stair thing, and it fell apart, and then it got ridiculous with the ring being taken apart and just that visual, and it's so stupid. But then Christian is holding Darby, and Nick is on him, a slapping him and a punching him and a kicking him. And then here comes Darby's friend Sting. And he was really walking with purpose. If somebody is just beating the bejesus out of you, and a friend of yours is coming to help, and they move at the pace that Sting was moving, would you question their dedication to your friendship?
Is this the first time we've seen Sting come out without his music playing?
Well, I think at least because it was unplanned. At least they figured that out after we've been screaming that for 4 years. But couldn't he move a little quicker?
Yeah, but everything else that's an unplanned running on the show, everyone had their music on this show, had their music playing, had videos playing.
Well, maybe he said, you know what? Don't play my music. It'll be a bigger pop when what happens happens. Who knows? Point is, he didn't look like he was goddamn highly motivated to get there and save poor Darby. But he finally got in the ring, and he made a little bit of an awkward comeback because the ring was a mess, and the padding was rolled up in the middle, and you couldn't bump safely with a bunch of people in the ring. And then he gave him a few pissy bumps, and then the heel stayed down while Sting walked around, I guess waiting on Dino Douche to get there, because Dino was a bit late, but finally he got there and he got on Sting, and Sting went down. And then Christian goes out to get the 2 chairs for the concerto. And like you mentioned, at that point I said, this won't end. It was so slow, and there's no credibility and there's no realism, because security or cops or extra referees or somebody would be trying to stop mayhem like this. There's no urgency. It's just the same thing with the WWE when they do these long angles. But nevertheless, suddenly the lights go out, and on the video screen pops up the video of somebody starting up and driving a car. And I wrote, my God, now a video makes the save. Everybody stops what they're doing in the ring to watch somebody that you can't see drive a car. But helpfully,
I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to, oh, wait, there's a movie.
Yeah, there's a movie. Is there Punch and Pie also with the film? Fortunately, they ruined their own surprise when the car, an overhead shot from one of their independent film auteurs that does this shit,
Darby Allin.
They had a shot of the car driving over of a street from above where the street had rated R written on the street. So, and you heard the people pop when they saw it. So they blew their own surprise with the fucking introductory faceless car driver video. And then Edge's music hits, which apparently he owns. His You Think You Know Me?
Well, no, he doesn't own it. It's a real band with a real song. They own it, and they will allow Edge to use it wherever he wants. However, what WWE does own is You Think You Know Me. That's why that was changed.
I wasn't well versed enough to know that it was changed. It was the same words.
No, it was
different people.
I think it was a different voice saying, You Think You Know Him, not You Think You Know Me.
Oh, maybe it was You Think You Own Me? Well.
And Tony said, yes.
You don't own me anymore. Nevertheless, Edge's music hits in whatever iteration or orchestration of it. And he comes out with pyro and the big pop. and heads to the ring and doesn't make an immediate save. He goes in face to face with Christian, his old cohort, compadre, asks Christian for the chair. He sets up like he's going to do the concerto on Sting. So, of course, by now, you know he's not. And he turns around and hits Nick Wayne with the chair and spears Dino and spears Nick, and Christian bails to the floor. And Edge shakes hands with the baby faces, and the people are ballistic. And, of course, they can't call him Edge. He's got to be Adam Copeland, but he can be rated R superstar, apparently.
Yeah, they vacated that trademark, although he did file for a bunch of trademarks earlier today as we were recording. I think Cope was one of them. And obviously he has rated R superstar, I guess.
What about copacetic?
He has not gone for that yet. What about the Cope?
I don't know if he's going to be able to cope with this. I hate to see this move, honestly, because I know Tony probably gave him several $1 million a year for however many years. And I guess he just thought at that point, okay, there's new ownership in the WWE. Is Edge already in the Hall of Fame? Have they inducted him?
Oh, I think they did, but I'm not certain.
I think they did too, but yes, they did. So, but he's in the Hall of Fame already. They're probably, if they didn't take fucking Trump or Benoit out, they're not going to take him out.
See, that's the problem. They keep saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's not. He's like a third or fourth ballot Hall of Famer. You have to seriously think about it and wonder if he's there or not.
Well, but nevertheless, I didn't think as of a couple weeks ago, that's why he's worked there for 25 years. He and his wife both. And he's done television and acting roles. And now the biggest talent agency in Hollywood owns the fucking WWE. And just out of any kind of loyalty, gratitude, or future income, did Tony give him enough $1 million for the next 2 or 3 years? And I assume at this level, all of Tony's big-time talent contracts are guaranteed by his father rather than if AEW goes out of business. So was it enough money that Edge said, fuck it, for 3 years, and maybe they've just sold the company? I don't have any loyalty to these new people anyway, and I'm already in the Hall of Fame. They won't kick me out.
I think you're looking at it all wrong. I think he's a guy who came back, and for some of us, the comeback didn't hit its full potential or didn't feel all that great after a while. He just felt like another guy, and he's gone through everyone over there. I'll play you the media scrum audio on the drive-thru, but he said that they and he saw things a little differently. I think he's one of those guys they were ready to start phasing down. You know, you'll still be on the show, but
well, yes,
you're not going to be winning. He's going to go there, and he's excited, he said, about all the new opponents. And because of all the time off he had, there are a number of people he's never been in the ring with, never wrestled. He's going to be full-time. He's going to be on every Wednesday night at least.
Yeah.
And he seemed very excited about just being able to do all the things and be everything that he wanted to be in WWE right now, but they're not seeing the investment in Edge the same way Tony's seeing the investment in Adam Copeland.
Well, but see, that's what worries me. He thinks, like everybody has, that he's going to come there and he can do the great stuff that he wants to do. He doesn't realize yet. I'm sure he can do something great with Christian, but he doesn't realize yet that anybody he's working with is either going to get hurt, or going to get heat with the fucking EVPs, or going to goddamn not be able to work up to the fucking level or standards that, you know, he might think that he should be used to. But the biggest thing was, I thought if the WWE didn't want to re-sign him for enough money or want to phase him out or whatever, why piss him off? Why not just retire and move into a little acting?
Because if you don't want to stop working, why would you do that? Just to make WWE happy? He's going to go make a bunch of money. They'll take him back at the end of the day. If he ever wanted to go back.
Well, the new ownership, I don't know if I'd trust that or not. Point is, in 2 or 3 years, when either Tony has blown all of his inheritance or has the breakdown, we don't know that this company's still going to be around in a few years. The WWE will be. That's why I'm shocked at a guy that spent his entire life there, except now, maybe, okay, he's done everything,
He's going to be working
and
with
they
all of his
put him in a Hall
friends.
of Fame, and he gets to play with his friends.
Well, that's what it is. He gets to, for the first time in a number of years, he gets to do stuff with Christian. Him and FTR are very close.
But it's like a reverse Cody. You get to go from the top company with the best production and the most professional presentation. And then a lot of people are going to think, well, he just quit wrestling altogether. And other people are going to say, oh, look, Edge is now he's with the indie promotion.
It is a reverse Cody because Cody was still working his way up. Cody was still on the way up. Edge isn't. There is nothing but a slide down for Edge, and that's not a shot at him, but his age, what else is happening in the business, you can't push him the way you would a Cody. AEW is going to let him do everything he wants. He'll work with a bunch of people he wants to work with. I don't know how good it's going to be. I mean, they were really pushing in the media scrum. He's going to be here every week. He's full-time. I think the more he was on WWE TV, the more people didn't care.
It was too much because it was special. He came back from a forced retirement. The story was there. The sentiment was there. The sympathy. And then the more you saw him go back and forth, the more that it was kind of
So they ended the show with the big Edge reveal. And, it is interesting. I guess what would Edge have done if Darby had won? Did he still have the video queued up? Was he still going to storm the stage and have
he was still going to drive that car down? And I get, talking about it with you, you're right. If he's convinced that he's done everything in the WWE, they ain't going to kick him out of the Hall of Fame. He's going to get millions of dollars from Tony Khan. And he's made peace with the fact that if the new ownership doesn't want to take him back for future projects as a legend, he doesn't need money. I'm sure he's already fixed financially. And he'd rather go play with his friends than have the come down of going from the big company to the land of Lilliput with all the unprofessional jackoffs.
And again, we'll play the audio on the drive-thru, but he literally said in the scrum that his daughter said, why don't you go be with Uncle Jay? And I think that is a big thing there. I mean, everyone has friends, everyone has family, but him and Christian literally came into the business together. They were best friends from childhood. They've not done anything together in wrestling in forever because Edge was out of the picture. Christian
was in TNA for a long time.
A lot of different places. So,
yeah.
Again, I'm not saying you're wrong in a lot of what you're saying, but if you look at it from his point of view, if you only have a limited time, realistically, just because of age left in the ring.
Yeah.
You've got millions already. You're going to still get millions. And you're going to be able to be around in the locker room some people you want to be around. I could see it making sense for him. Now, I do want to say, they closed the show that's a tribute to Antonio Inoki by finding the one wrestler with a pelican jaw to come out there and make the save at the end. Good job, Tony Khan.
Good job, Tony. That's about the only time you'll hear that said this week. All right, so, okay, I guess Edge then fine. As long as his money is guaranteed by Shad Khan that he will get paid if AEW goes out of business. And I think that would be for any main event level talent looking to sign any kind of extension or long-term deal with AEW. Don't let that loophole bite you in the ass. Make the money guaranteed by Shad Khan's corporation rather than depending on hoping that AEW is still going to be a thing in 3 years.
Again, a lot of people said just wait for the video game, wait for the video game. We're getting more and more feedback from people who are saying you have to see how dead it is. There's no one playing online. There's like 24 people. The video game's dead on arrival. And how much was that? 60 million or whatever it was.
It was many, many millions of dollars.
They said that was the difference between the company being profitable and not. Has it made its money back or come even closer? Does it have any prospect of doing that? Probably not, but
one would think that if the video game was doing well, one would be hearing that. And we're hearing the opposite.
That's right, and that is guaranteed by Shad Khan.